And if you don't have a mask like this one, you can always make one at home like this one. He decided to classify religious worship as essential. DFG Noodles has been making around $170 to $500 each day. Compare that to what they were making before the pandemic. We're talking about $3,500 to $5,000 daily. That's more than a 90% drop in sales. And just to break even, they would have to make at least $950 each day. During this tough time, these families are willing to give back and help out. Good to see a good deed like that.
These new rules are really complicated, and so the challenge is nobody really knows. They're interpreting it as they go, and they're even changing it as they go.
For those who have venture capital investors, it's important to pay close attention when applying.
And some of the language in there makes it look like venture-backed companies that have investors in a lot of businesses can have trouble qualifying under the standard ways that things have been set up in the past.
But Capital Factory's founder and CEO Joshua Baer says venture-backed companies are eligible. You just have to do your research.
There's been mass confusion in the market. That mass confusion was really avoidable. There were a lot of people commenting, and a lot of people frankly misread the rules. So many startups, including startups with venture backing, are eligible.
Ed Zimmerman and his team have dug deep into the rules of the program. He says a lot of the confusion arose from the affiliation rules.
Initially, people thought that a startup that had investors who each own 12 or 15% of the equity might be excluded, and that is not the case.
He says it depends on how much venture funds own, who controls the board, and can they direct day-to-day business, like firing someone.
Part of the problem is the rules are complicated.
The biggest thing I would just remind small businesses is that this is a major accelerator of all things. And so it's going to accelerate a bunch of bad things, but there will be good things that are accelerated too. And there will be lemonade to make from the lemons.
Zimmerman says if venture capitalists do own a lot of the decision making, that it's best for business owners to consult with their attorneys. The other thing startups have to worry about now, most of the banks have already given out those small business loans, and it could take another stimulus bill from Congress to reopen those purse strings. Back to you.
May I have your attention, please?
With just hours left before Monica Alvidrez is due back in Hawaii, she and her daughter are getting ready to embark on a 14-hour journey.
Texas is my home. Maui is my temporary paradise.
The Round Rock neighbor is spending the school year in Maui after accepting a teaching job.
Best of both worlds.
For Monica, it's a dream come true, but it's not how she imagined the year would wrap up, teaching remotely.
I have to stay up later because it's a 5-hour difference.
If she didn't have to go back to work, she wouldn't be at ABIA.
No, definitely not. I would still be at home. I would still be at my Texas home sleeping.
For Austin Bergstrom officials, the almost empty airport is a welcome sight.
From a public health perspective, that's encouraging for us. That it means folks are choosing only to travel if it is essential at this point.
But the toll of the pandemic is hard to ignore. On a daily basis, the airport has lost about 90% of its traffic, from nearly 30,000 travelers each day to just under 1,000.
It's the biggest change in the industry since 9/11.
What this can mean for ABIA's future, officials say at this point they're uncertain.
But right now, it's really too soon to speculate for any long-term impacts.
Long lines highlight the need. One Ana Ramirez knows all too well. It's very difficult, she says, because there are a lot of us who don't have enough food. The mother of 3 stays home to take care of her boys while her husband works. But Ana says it's simply not enough. They depend on the food bank to survive. That's why we come to these distributions. Now I have enough food for a week or two. With no means of transportation, Ana showed up on foot. Another woman took the bus. Don't be embarrassed, she says. No shame in asking for help when you need it. And Ana adds, I'm happy because I got food. Have a good day. The Central Texas Food Bank was able to feed more than 1,500 families during Wednesday's food distribution event at LBJ High School. Inside those boxes handed out, 28 pounds of food. We're talking about things like canned meat, beans, rice, and hygiene supplies. The next mass distribution event will be at Del Valley High School this coming Monday starting at 9 that morning. It is a drive-through event for safety reasons during this pandemic. Back to you. Driving by, you may not notice it, but this 4-foot, 6-pound device under an overpass near Airport Boulevard and Highway 290 is a portable sink.
Minimal, it's a simple right for people to wash their hands.
It's a hand washing station for those experiencing homelessness.
A number of convenience stores and other places, rec centers being closed, places where these men and women would normally go to wash their hands, use a restroom, don't have access to that anymore. And so that became a burden on our heart. Pastors
at Hope Community Church in East Austin purchased over a dozen hand washing stations.
So we have our sink right here where the water comes out. We have the soap dispenser area right here. Our 5-gallon tank. They simply step on this as much and the water pumps through here and it comes through. The water when you're washing your hands, the water that's coming off of your hands and the dirt and all the mess comes through here and it empties out on the back.
They plan to maintain the stations. They'll refill them with water and sanitize daily. It's a task these pastors are willing to take on. They're not alone. Other churches have joined in, taking responsibility for some of the portable sinks. The pastors say this is not a one-time deal.
Even if COVID-19 suppresses, they still need to be there. And so it's not just we just want to do this for a season. It's something that we want to do long term.
For now, it's just that one. But the pastors tell me their goal is to get about a dozen of these hand washing stations all across town. If you would like to help or get involved with this initiative, you can visit this story on KXAN.com. Back to you.